Hello and welcome to the sixth grade math honors curriculum information slides. Talking with you today is Mr. Loudon, and I'm going to be going over the rules and expectations for sixth grade honors, as well as the standards and curriculum we will go over throughout the year. So to start off with, the sixth grade math teachers on the Dragon team, you have Ms. Calm and Mr. Harbin, and on the Knights team, you have Ms. Singletary and myself. Looking at the teachers, so Ms. Calm is on the far left, followed by Mr. Harbin, Ms. Singletary, and myself, Mr. Loudon, on the far right. So this way you get a little glimpse of what your child's teacher looks like. So communicating through email is probably your best bet when it comes to communicating with your child's teacher, or the teacher websites to stay updated on assignments and projects and tests and quizzes and all that stuff. If you don't know your child's team website or teacher's website, just feel free to email their homeroom teacher and they'll be more than happy to let you know what that is. We do quarterly newsletters, so the quarter one newsletter was recently sent out. This way, it'll inform you of anything that's upcoming or if anything's due and needs your attention. Daily through agendas, so we recommend that parents look through their child's agenda daily, whether looking at the behavior sheet or all the subjects in their agenda to see what's due. Some teachers require the parents to do a signature in the agenda. Some don't. Just depends on the teacher and it depends on the student and how they are with their academics. Progress reports. So each quarter, at the end of each quarter, we will send out a progress report if your child is failing or in danger of failing our math class. If they are, you are required to sign that progress report. So that lets us know that you're aware of how your child is performing in class. So organization is the key to success. Have a math notebook. We recommend a 5-subject math notebook. Students are responsible for maintaining their math notebook, keeping it neat, keeping it organized, and that math notebook should solely be dedicated to math class. So us teachers, we don't need to be seeing social studies, ELA, science notes in their math notebook. Make sure that's just math. So in sixth grade honors, we do IXL, and students will use IXL to practice their math skills. IXL contracts will be required each quarter to review the skills, and the username and password should be in your student agenda. If your student does not know their login, their username is their first name, their last name, @Bailey MS, and their password varies by teacher. So for homework, Mr. Harbin and Mr. Loudon tend to do weekly homework, assigned Monday, due Friday, and Ms. Calm and Ms. Singletary tend to do daily homework. And they normally go over the daily homework either before or after their warm-up each day. So going through the curriculum and standards, sixth grade math honors and quarter one, what we're talking about now, we'll go over multiplication and division using the standard algorithm. We'll talk about exponents, including fractional bases, so 1/4 to the second power, 3/4 to the third power, stuff like that. We'll talk about order of operations, factors, divisibility rules, and what we're learning about now, prime factorization. In Unit 2, we'll talk about the greatest common factor, DCF, and least common multiple, LCM, using methods, lists, tic-tac-toe, and prime factorization to solve. In Unit 3, we introduce integers, talking about opposites, absolute value, comparing and plotting them on a number line. We talk about adding and subtracting integers up to -20 using number lines and chips. And then we take it up a notch by multiplying and dividing integers as well. In Unit 4, we translate algebraic expressions. So, for example, 2x means 2 times a number, 1/2 x would mean half a number. Solving 1 and 2 separate algebraic equations using inverse operations. Again, we take it to the next level by talking about multi-step equations with integers and rational numbers. And we use the distributed property to simplify expressions and equations. And then we factor algebraic expressions. That's it for quarter one. We move on to quarter two. And in Unit 5, we talk about translating phrases into inequalities. We solve one-step inequalities, and we graph all solutions to inequalities on the number line. And then we multiply and divide fractions in Unit 6, as well as solve algebraic equations involving fractions. In Unit 7, we add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals, as well as solve algebraic equations with decimals. And then in Unit 8, we convert between fractions, decimals, and percents. Moving on to Unit 9, we write ratios based on pictures and scenarios. We simplify ratios and write equivalent ratios, and we write and solve proportions. And then we move into scale factors, and then we end Unit 9 with tips, taxes, and discounts, and we see how that can relate to real-world topics. For quarter 3, we go into percent of a number, as well as solving other percent problems with missing parts and wholes. In Unit 11, we add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators using algebraic equations, and then we plot points on a 4-quadrant coordinate plane. Then we go into shapes, so we find the perimeter of 2D shapes. We find the area of rectangles, squares, triangles, trapezoids, and composite shapes. We find the area of shapes on a coordinate plane. And then we get into surface area with 3D shapes and nets. So we get in the surface area of rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, and pyramids. And we also talk about volume and finding the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. In 6th grade honors, we do talk about circles. We talk about the area of the circles, radius, diameter, circumference, and all that key vocabulary in terms of circles. In quarter 4, Unit 15, we get into data and statistics. So we'll find the mean, median, mode, and range of a set of data. We'll determine if a question is statistical or not, and we'll create and analyze a box and whisker plot, as well as histograms and line plots. And then our last unit, Unit 16, we will review for the EOG, which will be taken in late May, early June. And we'll review and go over all the topics your child learned in quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's it. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to your teacher, send them an email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for your time. Night.